Hi, I'm Stephanie Campbell from the Young Agents chapter of the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales. All too often, property managers have to deal with difficult situations, including what to do in the case of abandoned properties and goods left behind by tenants. I recently had an experience where a tenant had given notice to vacate, but when I arrived to carry out my final inspection, the property wasn't empty. Instead, the property was littered with rubbish and the tenant had left behind bits and pieces they didn't want anymore. To make things worse, the property hadn't been cleaned. A case like this is particularly frustrating as it is time-consuming to empty a property, arrange cleaning, etc. And as property managers, we are busy enough already without adding this additional stress to our plate. So what should you do if you find yourself in a similar scenario? The first thing you need to do is photograph and document everything. You can never have too many photos of items that have been left behind. I also suggest taking video footage, which is easy to do on most smartphones and digital cameras. The next thing you need to do is make contact with your landlord and let them know what's going on. Make sure you advise the landlord of their legal responsibilities. At this point, you will also need to attempt to contact the tenant and give notice that you'll be disposing of the goods they have left behind. Make sure you exhaust all contact details available, including emergency contacts. Remember to provide regular updates to the landlord during this period. So what next? Change the locks. This is essential as you can never be 100% sure that a tenant doesn't have a copy of the key. I once had a situation where a tenant continued to camp out in a property at night. You'll also need to develop an action plan. Ascertain what needs to be done to the property in order to efficiently relocate the premises. If the property has a lock-up garage, have all items moved into it. This way you can arrange for the property to be cleaned and maintenance carried out while storing the goods. Once the notice period you have given the tenant has ended, make arrangements for the goods to be disposed of. There are many ways you can do this. You can try selling the goods, donating them to charity, or taking them to the tip. For items such as TVs, fridges and washing machines that have been left behind, I recommend you contact your local appliance rental companies before disposing of them. You never know, the tenant could have rented these items. Again, make sure that you document how and where each item has been disposed of and keep a record of it on file. Unfortunately, in most instances, the costs involved in this process exceed the amount of the bond, so your landlord ends up being out of pocket. This is when landlord's insurance is a huge benefit. Collect all invoices, documentation and photos and send them to the insurance company to make a claim. As property managers, we have a duty to our landlord to minimise their financial loss. In these sorts of instances, they will look to you for professional guidance and advice of how to handle the situation. So you need to be confident in the advice that you give, which in effect will make everything easier and less stressful for you. Finally, make sure you know and understand the legalities relating to the goods left behind under the new Residential Tenancies Act. The REI has useful information about the changes on their website. If you want to find out more about what to do when a property has been abandoned, contact the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales. Go to www.reinewsouthwales.com.au or find us on Facebook.